Today, being Sunday, we have Advaita open discussion with Bindoji. So you can have questions that spans the whole space of Advaita, or you could focus on Bhagavad Gita classes that were conducted recently, because I'm sure there are a lot of questions. And the session will last for about an hour and a half. And the replays again are available for all the talks are available in Clubhouse, or you can go into Advaita Retold channel, Spotify or Apple podcast repositories, which are all shared in the chat. There is also a book penned by Artemisia. It's called The Imaginary Door, which is published on Amazon. And these are based on Bindoji's insights about Advaita and the path of that approach to Advaita. And hand raising in the chat is open. Namaste, Srinivasti. Over to you. You can ask the question. As always, thank you, Bindoji.
Thank you, Prakashji. So, Bindoji, one thing at the beginning of the 4th chapter, one thing I was noticing is, because Karma Yoga, one of the important aspect is Ishwararpana Buddhi, right? So, like some kind of a recognition of Ishvara. So, this Ishvara Swarupa is being told at the beginning because the prerequisite to even do Karma Yoga is to understand the presence of Ishvara and cultivate Ishwararpana Buddhi. Would that be a right understanding?
Yeah, you can say that. It's Ishwararpana Buddhi is secondary. The prime direction which Krishna is talking about is desirelessness while doing the action. That is phalecha, the result, fruit of the action. That has to be abandoned. Now, it's not easy for anybody to, not have an expectation out of the action which he is doing, unless he is given a method in which the expectation is turned into a surrendering by offering it to Ishwararpana. For that only the avatara is being discussed.
Yeah. Thank you, Bindu. So Arjuna is yet to recognize Krishna as the Ishvara. That's why Krishna has, so thereby he cannot yet start his Karma Yoga or something like that. Can we say?
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
That's why he's saying, no, Sakha. He says, Shishyasteham Shadimam Prapannam. He said that I am your devotee, I am your disciple. Please enlighten me, save me from this delusion of grief and sorrow. When he surrendered that, he had said that I see you as a friend and etc. Especially in the 11th chapter, he will say that, oh Krishna, I have been seeing you all through as a friend and I called you names, not realizing your Vishwarupa or your Avatara Rupa. So from that point of view, the surrender, he submits himself totally. Even though he did that in the beginning, saying Shishyasteham Chadimam Prapannam, when he started that in the end of the 1st chapter, he did not have the total surrender. See, what happens is that we can have faith, we can have what you call reverence, we may see that, God or a teacher or Brahman or Atman, whichever may be your, option which you are choosing, you can still have the, what you call, duality in your approach. So when Arjuna was telling that in the beginning to Krishna, he was talking from the point of view that I see you as a person who knows this. And with the knowledge, please help me to come out of it. But his surrender was not total. that surrender, total surrender, comes only when he sees that, the Krishna which he thought as his friend is not an ordinary person whom he was looking into that. So his approach totally changed from asking for a solution to complete surrender in the 11th chapter. We will see that when we reach that. So Krishna is building up stage by stage from a warrior who was ready to fight and who is known for excellence in his actions, suddenly becoming deluded and stricken by the grief and despair. So when from that point of view, it is not easy for anyone to be shaken off and taken to the state where he is approaching the same issue which he was going with a, feeling of pride and importance as an egoistic person. From there, he is approaching the same problem with a different attitude, with a total surrender and being an instrument to that deity whom he is surrendering, and he was not having any expectation out of the outcome of the war. But his only interest at that time was to excel in the war. That is what Krishna makes him to understand. That is the way Arjuna can only get out of that issue.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And one more small thing I noticed is, here in the last two slokas, the way the Ishvara Swarupa is projected, and for example, in comparison, we already know that Yantra Rudhani Maya, Ishvara Tuddeshe Arjuna Tishtate, which is going to come up, right? But these two seem very different, right? Like this God here, the way it is described, because he's telling, you don't know, I know. So he's creating a difference between Jiva. So it gives me the vibes of a Madhvacharya kind of philosophy, these shlokas. Whereas the other Yantra Rudhani Maya gives the vibes of Ramanuja philosophy, right? So Krishna is bringing out various angles, it looks like, in this.
No. Here also he is saying that Ajopisan, even though he has said that everyone, including those enemies who are standing there, including those who are your own side also, including you and me, we are all that same. Ajo nitya shashvadoyam puranaha na hanyade hanyamane sharire. That means we are all part of the Brahman. We are all Brahman only. That he has already said in the second chapter. So from there, when he is now developing and telling that, I remember, but you don't remember, even though both of us are of the same make, or of the same ingredient, or the same Brahman, in the two things, why is it that you are not remembering? Because why I am remembering is because I have taken this avatara at my own volition, with the full control of my knowledge not having deluded or surrendered, which you have, to you it has happened. Your knowledge, the same knowledge with which I am operating now, therefore I am able to remember everything. You are not a person who is now having that knowledge, and your knowledge has been deluded, therefore you think you are the limited Arjuna. That is what he is telling Arjuna here. So it is not that it is a duality what Jiva, Ishvara and Jiva he is talking about. Ishvara and Jiva, yes, from the difference between the level in which the knowledge is operational. In the case of Ishvara, the knowledge is under his control. In the case of a Jiva, he doesn't have the knowledge. He is deluded by the, avidya, or identification with the body, mind, intellect complex, of the limited individual. Even when he becomes a jnani, his knowledge and the association with the body, he cannot, operate from a different body. So he becomes a Jivan Mukta operating in the body with the knowledge, but that knowledge is only experiential knowledge, which is as a knowledge which is available, but not have a control over the knowledge, how the knowledge should be operational. That is why Jivan Muktas, they're like a mirage. They will continue to see the water, but they know the truth, but they think. Whereas the case of an avatara, he can create mirage, which a Jivan Mukta cannot do it.
Beautiful, Binduji. Thank you. I think I'll wait. I have a couple of questions, but let others continue. If there is time, I'll ask other questions. Yeah.
Namaste, Atmisha. After a long time.
Hari Om Bindo. Nice to be here. This young man here named Kinu, we were all, some of us, in another room and thought it might be a good thing for him to talk to you. So here he is.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Atmisha. Welcome, Kinu. I think I have seen and spoken to you some time back, I remember.
Yeah, long back, I think. Yeah.
Long back, yes. Yes, very familiar about. Yes. Go ahead.
So, like as you have just shared that there's a kind of knowledge which is beyond experience. So how can we conclude some things that whether this is knowledge or not knowledge, if you do not have the experience or something which is beyond experience?
Well, that knowledge has got two aspects. One is the knowledge which we are talking about is what we know about through the operations of the mind and intellect. And there are two levels of people. Some people who have the knowledge of something sometimes for some period of time, then it loses. Then there are other people who have a control over or a mastery over that subject, but it will be all limited to an application or a limited area of operation. Then there is another aspect of knowledge. Even though we use the word knowledge, it is not actually knowledge. It is the being, the awareness or the consciousness, where the person is no more identifying himself with anything other than the consciousness or the total awareness. And that awareness and being, and then that knowing in that beingness is not having any content in it, but it is full freedom of the beingness and the awareness or the consciousness. So what happens is that he is the master of deployment of the knowledge or the deployment of the consciousness in which way he wants to use it. The other person who, even though he has the mastery over the knowledge, it is limited to the apparatus through which he can operate. He has no option to create the apparatus of operation or the body, sense organs, etc., with which he can operate. He may have the knowledge, but he will not be able to operate outside the sense organs and body, mind, intellect. Therefore, he is a person who is with the knowledge, liberated out from the problems of the life of limitation. But he has not become the one who has the absolute knowledge which he has, or the consciousness which he has total control over it, where he can even create appearances, generate, appearances or objects in the consciousness as experiential points of references. It is something which we cannot imagine from our limited mind and intellect. What will be that control like? That is where the problem will come. Then we call those people as, or the people who deploy themselves through the appearance of the knowledge as avatars, or they are God. We call them God.
Yeah. So one thing that I would like to say. So, do you think that we, as a human being, have the potentiality to to liberate ourselves from body, mind, or the self, or maybe consciousness, to have the knowledge of something which is beyond?
We have the capacity to release us from the limitations which we are volitionally binding us due to our own limitations. And that limitation is not any physical limitation, but the limitation of the knowledge in which how things are operating or how things are happening. Once we have that knowledge as to how things are happening, how things have to be seen, and how we should understand that what is being experienced, why I am experiencing what I am experiencing, all this knowledge, when we get it, we are no more going to be limited by the feeling that I am the individual which is stuck in this body, mind, intellect. Whereas we'll know that I am a witness who feels that when I am experiencing my waking, I become a waker for the experiences of the waking world. When I experience the dreamer, the world of the dream and the objects of the dream are my limitations. And when I am in deep sleep, neither waking dreams is not available. Therefore, I have no knowledge of anything else. But I know these things happening. Therefore, I am separate from them. And I can see that as a witness, these operations are happening, and I identifying with them, I become the waker, dreamer, and the deep sleeper. Otherwise, as a witness, I am one who knows these three things are, happening again and again. Therefore, the operations of the waking is not going to be my limitation. Dream is not going to be my limitation, or deep sleep is not going to be my limitation. I am the witness where there is no limitation. Once we identify and make a shift from the waker, dreamer, or the deep sleeper to the sakshi or the witness, there we are free from the problems of waking, dream, and deep sleep, and we become totally free from the limitation. That is where we get a release from the limitations, or limitations from the problems of waking, dream, and deep sleep. Then we are in a state where we will not bother what is happening in waking or dream or deep sleep, because they are mere experiences which are happening. I am the witness of those happening. Therefore, the shift will release you from the problems.
Yeah. One last question that I would like to ask. So, as you have said, I'm the witness. So that I is the accumulation of mind, body, brain, or that I is the independent of these three things: body, mind, and brain.
It is a combined body, mind, intellect effect of individuality, what we call it as. It is operational at the mind level. But the mind itself has no permanent mind. The mind becomes sometimes intellect, sometimes becomes memory, sometimes goes to what you call tendencies, latent impressions and all. So this mind, we experience it through operational link, which is to the sense organs. So we feel that we are limited by the objects which are fed through the sense organs to the mind, and then we get into the link of the mind, sense organs, and the sense objects. That becomes a reality. That is called the triad, the Triputi, the subject, the object, and the connection between the subject and object, which is through the sense organs. That becomes a reality for us, and then mind thinks, I am the individual who has these sense organs, and the sense objects are not me. They are objects separate from me, and I am enjoying them. That feeling comes to us. Therefore, we become the individuals. Others become individuals. Other objects becomes other objects, and everything is subject and object in the two, what you call, in the dichotomy.
So, like, can that I, the I that you are referring, can that I exist without body, mind, and brain?
Yeah. You don't know that the body, mind, and the brain is there, but you remember, you say that I knew nothing in my deep sleep. That the body, the mind and you don't remember your body, you don't know your body where it is, you don't know the time and space and location, you don't know the sense organs, you don't know the mind which is operational or not. Yet, you have some sort of a memory when you wake up that there was nothing, I knew nothing. That is the state where without the operation of the mind and body and intellect, the individuality existed. But the individuality has not de-identified itself to the witness who knows that I am separate from the waking dream and deep sleep. That has not taken place to the deep sleeper. Only when you do an analysis, and then the analysis you are to, that is now becoming what we call it as mananam. And when you continuously do that, you become a sort of a conviction that I am not the waker, I am not the dreamer, I am not the deep sleeper, but I know I am the knower, or I am the witness which experiences these three. When I am experiencing the three, I associate myself. But since I am the knower of the three, I have to be separate from the three. That will take a shift for you where the I also will not be there, because the individual which is related to the body, mind and intellect is only for the waker, dreamer and the deep sleeper. The moment you shift from that to the witness, the I feeling will go. You will not have the I feeling, but you will remain in a state of consciousness or awareness of what we call as a witness to the three states. And when you continue your analysis again and again, you will think even the Sakshi is only, or the witness is only, if I am relating myself to the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep. But that is not me. So why should I relate it to that to say that I am a witness? I am not even witness, but I am the consciousness or the awareness or the knowing principle in which all these knowing were taking place. Therefore, I am pure consciousness. That time, even the I, the individual self also will get dropped off.
So, Kinu, I don't mean to, you can tell me you'd prefer if I just be quiet, and I will be, but, what Bindo was just explaining, I would say, Bindo, is almost certainly going to be misunderstood by people. We'll try to look for ways to make sense of this. before we're actually really, really clear through our own experience. So here's my question, Kinu, is do you really have any follow-up questions? Because it would be really interesting to listen to them, and I hope you don't hold back.
No, I do not have any follow-up questions. So,
Okay.
so you can continue our discussion.
Thank you, Kinu.
Yeah, thank you.
Namaste, Kiran.
Hari Om Bindu sir, Charan Sparsh. How are you, sir?
Fine. How are you?
Good, sir. Good. Yeah, so there's something I wanted to share. The third chapter was immensely deep and I think kind of overpowering because it kind of shattered lot of either say misunderstanding or misunderstanding. One thing, sir, which I kind of slowly starting to understand is when you taught us all about the Upanishads and when you do like the other talks, those, at least to me, the way I was looking at was kind of abstract way. Like, you know, how we understand math or science. Like, even though you kind of talk about I consciousness, pure consciousness, but at least in my mind, it was still kind of, you know, it was pointing to, okay, this is a subject, let's understand what it is trying to say, kind of thing. Sankhya also, when you did the second chapter, it did feel kind of the same in an abstract manner, even though like little by little I try to apply it to myself. But third chapter, when you started to say about the karma and all, it kind of started to point to the true me, and I started to question a lot of things. Kind of.
Thank you, Kiran. I can understand your statements from both the sides. Yeah, this is why I said Gita is a more practical Advaita rather than the abstract Advaita of the Upanishads. The Upanishad exposes to you to the Brahman or Atman. But what is there? There is a Brahman or Atman, and what is there for me in that, or what is the connection between that and me? That will become clearer only in the Bhagavad Gita.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, yeah, I have contemplated like one thing is I have so many things to say because I only meet once in a while because of the timing. But what has happened to me is I can't hear over the week, so I hear everything over the weekend like a binge watch, like I do binge listen to you. What happens to me is when I keep hearing you, I keep noting down questions. It's very surprising that within another session or second session, you will automatically answer it without even me asking. So it's a very, like, even, so then I am actually trying to see myself. Number one, I kind of console myself in a way that, okay, probably I'm asking the same kind of question what Krishna is asking, and probably Krishna is answering the same way. My mind is also kind of unraveling itself. And secondly, I think your guidance is so powerful that my thoughts are actually going in the straight line. I think these are the two guidelines I am already noticing very well. It's kind of surprising and it's happening automatically. Thanks to you, sir. Like Charan for a second. I think I have not heard still like last two sessions of chapter 4. I think I heard only till the Ikshvaku Vamsha, that lineage. But I have, okay, I think, still a couple of questions related to chapter 1. Chapter 3. Sorry, the previous chapter, sir.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So you there was this what is it? Kama and Krodha, like Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, right? Now you touched upon things like even if you are doing a study, you don't know where karma will hide. It will be hidden in such subtle way that there is no way for you to understand. Now, when I think of these kind of statements, and when I go and remember all the Subhashitas, because the reason why I remember Subhashitas is from childhood I have been like by-hearted lot of Subhashitas. When things like there are Subhashitas, what is about Vidya, what is about Annadanam, Paramdanam, Vidyadanam, Antaparam. Like there are so many such Subhashitas which teaches about something about good, something about being good. And now, when you say things like, you don't even understand where the karma will be hidden, I have started to question every single act of it. Okay, I go and do selfless service in temples. Is that also karma? If I am trying to listen to your teachings, by like wholeheartedly, almost in the mode of surrender, is that also karma? Like, if it is so hidden, if it is so subtle, there is no way for me to really understand what is good to be done. I just do what I do. But also, if I retrace back 10 or 15 verses before, you also said that Krishna pointed to himself and says, look at me. I am actually being an example. I don't have to do this, but I am doing it for the sake of living, or he explains that. This is how Astita Prajna will be there, right? For us, mere people, like, these are some of the confusions. Even though you kind of clarified, it kind of keeps propping up, sir, one or the other way. So please, probably I'll shut up now. Please continue.
Kiran, your questions are very, very valid. See, the chance for us to identify where we are under the influence of kama and krodha, that the desire and the anger, is absolutely right that what we are doing, we are doing it because we are feeling good in doing it. If we are feeling good in doing it, doesn't mean it is right. It can be camouflaged desire which is making us feel good. Now, for example, a person is every day morning he thinks that by going to the temple he is doing a good thing. Just for example purpose. Now it has become to a stage that he feels that this going to the temple in the morning, doing the prayer and everything, and before he goes to his work, he doing that. He never understood that it can turn into a self-binding problem for himself. Now one day, he goes to office without going to the temple for whatever may be the reason. But throughout that trip to the office, he is now thinking, today morning I didn't do that, today morning I didn't do that, today morning I didn't do that. That was a guilt feeling in him. Now, a guilt feeling can come only when you have a desire for it. And that is prohibited, that desire is prohibited. That can become a guilt or an anger. It can be in either way. And if anything goes wrong in the office, he will now connect between the two. Because I didn't do this in the way in which I am supposed to be doing, that the whole thing is now my boss has fired me, or I have been given a pink slip from the office or something like that. This is what Krishna is indicating to us. Our actions should not be binding us. If it is binding us, means there is a tinge of desire in it. That is what Krishna was talking to about it. Now listening to the lectures. Why after you listen to the lectures, fine. You learn from that, fine. But if I don't listen to, because I am weekdays, I am not able to listen to you. I only weekends, I am doing binge listening to you. Now, you should not have a guilt feeling of that. It is a action which you should understand that it is for your benefit you are doing it. And you will do it whenever it is right time. Your mind should be able to be applied in that learning. Not as a ritual that you should listen to it and then you feel that, oh, I listened to it and today I'm feeling good. Yes, you may feel good. The feeling good is not always the right thing, which we often misunderstand that, that everything feels good is the right thing. No, it is not. That can sometimes be binding us. This is all what Krishna is telling about it. When he said that, even I am working for the sake, even though I know I need not work. Yadyatacharati shreshtastastate vedarojana sayat pramanam gurute lokastada nuvartate. That as a pramana, as a example for the society, I have to work means I will work. But that is not binding me because I have to do it for the society. No. I am doing it whenever is possible, that's all. But whenever is possible is not that it is derived out of my desire. It is the circumstances, applicability, all things should match together. Then I am showing to the society this is the right way to do it, that's all. But I have nothing to gain out of it, nor it is going to control me. If I don't do it, I don't feel bad about it. You have the freedom. So the word freedom is more important in all these things. In the action, if you had freedom, then only that action is not binding you. This has to be kept in mind. But if it is binding you, or freedom is not felt, or rather, don't even that feeling of, it is my duty to do it. Duty also can be binding. That duty, but when it is surrendered for the God, then that duty won't be binding you. These are some of the things which we have to keep careful in the Karma Yoga aspect of it.
Yeah, beautiful, sir. Thank you. So, I mean, even let's say you said even duty can be binding, right? Now, there are these very simple, like nobody will be even against things. Like, let's say my Desha Bhakti, right? The patriotism. I don't think anybody will be against if someone says I'm a patriot, right? Nobody will be against.
No.
But, no? Sir.
Patriotism should not be binding you. That is all it's important. Your patriotism is good or bad is not the question. If it is binding you and making you a victim for certain things, then that patriotism is also bad for you.
So just for the, because I live in a multi-nation people around lot of time, right? Now, why I am saying this is, I'm not saying as a true thing. It happens very normally, right? We talk about our countries, we talk about our philosophies, and because I love my country, I kind of talk very high about it. Do you see this as a karma based talking, or how should I perceive this? Or should I just keep quiet? Now, sometimes I have tried it. I just keep quiet. I don't do anything. That also works. But now after this chapter, I don't even understand. Should keeping quiet be the desire, or should I talk about my Desha Bhakti is the desire, right?
the thing is that you can talk about your Desha Bhakti, but you should not be affected by that. If somebody is, is hurting you by his words against your Desha Bhakti feeling which you have got, that is binding you.
The
That
binding
if you can keep,
happens. The binding
that
happens
binding,
because I can see that I am getting hurt. Is that Bindu sir? Is
yes,
that how I can recognize? Okay.
yes. On the contrary, you know that that person is talking about it to hurt me, but I am not going to be hurt because my faith in my country is unquestionable. I need not defend it and prove it to anybody. And if you become quiet, it won't be binding you. Because if you get hurt, it shows that your desire is the one which is now getting obstructed. That is why you are getting hurt or upset about it. But if you become quiet, knowing very well that my patriotism for my country is not for me to demonstrate or telling you. I told it as my normal conversational requirement. But if you are bent upon hurting me, seeing that I am going to get hurt by that, forget it. I'm not going to be get hurt because I have my faith absolutely in my country, and what you say is not going to hurt. That you can think in the mind, but don't react to him like that. Therefore, I am going to keep quiet. So when you keep quiet, then you are not giving him an opportunity or a handle to twist you. But that doesn't mean your patriotism has been dethroned or affected. You can continue to have it, but don't that become a desire for you, so that when it is obstructed by others or hurt by others, you enter into kama or krodha or a despair. That should not happen.
Yeah, I think. Thank you. This one, I think I can understand, because this has the factor of someone else coming into thing, right? Like the things about when you talk about the Indriya Nigraha and all those things. Nobody will stop me from eating anything. Nobody will stop me from thinking anything, right? Now there, the problem is, I don't even understand I am actually having coffee first thing in the morning because of the desire or because of the habit.
Mostly it is habit.
But
you
without
should
that,
not be, but if the habit, when it is broken, you should not feel upset about it. One day you could not get
yeah,
coffee in the morning, that should not make you miserable.
yeah,
Then that habit has become a desire in you.
right. Yeah, and probably the last, I'll let others speak. The last one is, there was one, I think, couple of weeks ago, where I think Sriniji also asked this question related to how do we recognize that thing and recognize that person, things like that. And Mauninaha, you said, like, really be the true Mauni, and it will kind of fall in place, right? I
Yeah,
am not, sorry,
yeah.
sir.
Go ahead.
No, I'm
Go
not
ahead. Go
able to
ahead.
grasp that, because from childhood, or from like whatever we have seen in the world, looking at everything which happens in the world, like a mother of a dog will try to protect the kid, because it becomes so natural. When we kind of are forced to think that this is the right thing to happen at this particular moment, to stop the urge of talking or trying to do something what we think is right, and not because I am gaining some indriya pleasure or mental happiness. I mean, now I can't even understand, because you clearly mentioned kama is so subtle that you don't understand. But those things, like, which is very natural, which is non-self kind of actions, sacrificial kind of actions which we are ready to do just because things are right. that I am questioning a lot these days, because I can be Mauni, I can look at something which I don't feel comfortable happening and keep quiet, whereas the other one which has been taught by this world to me, that this is supposed to be the right thing to do when this such a situation comes. You are supposed to stand up and do such things. You cannot do that anymore because of these teachings. So this dual thoughts sometimes uh, trouble me, sir.
Yeah, that they're all natural, but it is the clarity of wisdom which Krishna will be giving to us at different mental modes when we face certain situation will become clearer as we proceed further in Bhagavad Gita. So all answers are not given in the beginning itself by Krishna. He is taking us gradually from this, delusion and grief to a fully prepared person to face the challenges of life in the world. That is what we will learn in the process. So this is quite natural what you are saying as a, situation where we need to do confusion, whether it is to be done or not to be done, etc.
Macha Prakash, how did you invite me? So one thing is, what is clarity?
Sorry about that
Kiran?
intrusion, Bindu. Please continue.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Yeah, Kiran. So the thing is that, so you understood, no, where the confusion can still be there. That is because confusion always is a result of lack of understanding or clarity. If you have absolute clarity in the situation, what is the way to deal with the situation, there is no confusion at all. So that will come when Krishna is explaining some more steps further down. Not only we need to learn the yogas of, and how things are functioning, that especially when the Trigunatmika, when the Traigunya Vishaya, that is being taught, each one, how it is functioning is very important for us to understand. Here he is just touching up only the, Rajoguna Samudbhava, that's all he is saying. But how is it happening will come when we talk about it later in this chapter. So that when it is, propping its head in our mind, we will be able to identify that and then able to handle it properly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
From heart, Charan Sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Srini, if you have further questions which you were held, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, it was such a beautiful discussion. My mind went blank, Bindaji, what you and Kiran discussed. So just, I had few questions. I forgot some of those questions.
Okay. Namaste, Revati.
Namaste, Bindaji. Namaste, all. Bindaji, for Pravrittaha is Vedas, like Purva Mimamsa. And the culmination of that is Karma Yoga, where we'll do the karma as Yajna. There the moksha apeksha will come. Pravrittaha palapeksha is there.
Yes.
Right? And when
right.
And there the mumukshu, then he will become the chitta shuddha, then the Vedanta. Is it right?
That's right. That is why in that Mundaka Upanishad mantra, Karmachitan Brahmana Nirvedamayat Nastya Krita Krutena Tad Vijnanatam Sa Guru Meva Vigachet Samitpanihi Shotriyam Brahmanishta. So that is the Pravurtaha when he has Karmachitan is Pravurtaha, one who is in the Pravurti Marga. So that one who is into rituals and activity, when he finds out that he is not getting the, what you call, happiness, which should be permanent and eternal in nature, by temporary activities which are giving to results, like yatnya or kama is this thing, putra kamishti or yatnya kamishti, swarga kamishti, all those things which he has no idea about it. When he finds that, these actions are being done, but nobody seems to be eternally happy always, like how the Buddha, Siddhartha, he found that the happiness is not there. Dukkham, sarvam dukkham. Everywhere he is seeing only sorrow. So that type of a awareness comes to people in the Pravritti Marga to inquire for what is that which will give me permanent happiness. Yet jnatva sarvamidam vijnadam bhavati. He wants to know, knowing which everything will be known so that there will not be any ignorance in me. Sat vijnanartam sa guru meva vive. To know that he approaches gurus for the learning. And that should be Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. He should be well versed in the Shastra. He should be knowing the Shastras and its applicability. That is Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta there is not, he is established in Brahma. He is established in the, that Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman itself, which was the beginning of the statement from the second chapter of Taittiriya Upanishad. So that Brahmavid is the person whom he is here referred as Jnana Brahmanishtan, to which whom we will approach for the purpose of knowing what is the reality. So that time he will be moving away from the Pravritti Marga to Mumukshutva, Nivritti Marga. And in the Nivritti Marga, this Guru will tell him first to do Yatnyartho Karmano Anyasta, that all the karma should be done as a Yatnyartham. And that is how he starts his journey towards, you are doing karma, but you are not doing as Yatnyartham. You are doing it for your Putra Kameshti or Dana Kameshti or Pashu Kameshti or whatever may be there. Interest in your acquiring. That for that you are doing all your activities. Now, when he has approached the Guru will say, actions by themselves are not bad. As long as you do it as Yatnyartha, as the purpose of Yajna, you do it without phalecha, without the fruit of desire for the fruit of action, and surrendering the action itself, so that the action and the fruit of action goes to the deity or the Ishvara, God. And then you are not anymore bound by the actions, and the actions will not be anymore. That is the time when the actions will become Samatvam. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. So that is the equanimity in doing the activity. That will bring his Chitta Shuddhi. And when the Chitta Shuddhi is there, he will understand more what the Guru is teaching in the form of what is Nitya, Anitya. That is, Atma, Anatma, Viveka, Nitya, Nitya, Viveka, all those things, Viveka. And he will develop Nirvedamaya, Vairagya. When he will develop the Vairagya, then he moves Sattva Shuddhi. When the Vairagya comes, the Sattva Shuddhi will come. And Sattva Shuddhi, once it happens, he will be in the Jnana Nishtha process where he will be doing more of Manana Nididhyasana And that nididhyasana, when it rectifies as the final culmination or conviction that I am the self, not the body, mind, intellect, and the self in me is the self in all. That is what is called Brahman. When he realizes, comes to that stage, is when the knowledge becomes, then he becomes Brahmavit that time. That is the culmination. The whole process is like that.
Yes, Vindaji. But being mumukshu also, he is doing the karma yoga. After,
yes. He will never leave karma yoga. No. See, that is why Krishna himself says that na kaschit chanamapi jadu tishtatya karma krita. Even for an iota of a second, can anyone remain as inactive?
Yes. But Jnana Nishta, he even he even doesn't think about this. I'm doing karma yoga or not. Because he is nivritta, so he doesn't think about that.
Yeah, his actions are based on action knowledge. It is no more actions under delusion that I will get such and such a result out of it. I should do it for my result of this one. That delusion is not there. So his action is now with the knowledge that you are only an instrument in the whole cosmic picture. You become an instrument in your actions. You are contributing as much as you are. That is why Sahayatnya Praja Srishtva Pura Vaja Prajapati. Sahayatnya. Along with the Yatnya, he created us. What is the Yatnya? That all actions should be done with as a Yatnya only. But when we forgot it, we became, Pravritti Marga. Thinking for,
Yes. Thank you, Vindaji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vindaji. Now I remembered my question because it's also on the same shloka, Pariksha shloka.
Mm-hmm.
So my question was, this Akrita here is representing both Ishvara and Brahman or only Ishvara? I mean, only Brahman? Or
only Brahman.
Only Brahman, right? So this guy, when he did this pariksha and he understood Nasti Akrita Kritena. So then he's approaching the Brahmanishta Guru, right? So,
right.
So from there, actually you already clarified my question while replying to Revataji. I'm just reiterating. So it's that then the Brahmanishta Guru is starting the whole teaching of both Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga to that Brahmana, right? Is that the right understanding?
That's right.
It's clarified in the same question, coincidentally. I just wanted to reiterate and confirm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swami.
Sir, if no one is there, I can ask a couple more questions if that is okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now, in the third chapter itself, Krishna says, "Look at me and take me as an example and do things properly." Right? Now, in this world, in the way we are living, we don't know who is Krishna. We don't know how to take someone as a ideal, as an example, because like Arjuna, maybe we have the same dedication, power and surrender, all those things, but we don't know what to look at as an example. But all these good attributes, what is mentioned, being good, being kind, like all those things, those are all good, but how does it look in reality? We don't know. How will you solve this problem? Like maybe it will come in the future, but because he already said, "Look at me as an example," Arjuna was lucky I had a Paramatma. We are lucky we have you, but we are not seeing you every day like as a walking and talking person. How can I I like visualize such an example?
Kiran, in the second chapter, Krishna has very clearly said an answer to Arjuna, Stitapratnasya Kabasha. How do I know a Stitapratnya? And that from the 55th verse onwards, I think up to or 62nd verse to 71st verse, toward the end of the chapter, full chapter, Krishna has given how a Stitapratnya will be walking, talking and living in the world. Anyone who is living like that is a person whom you have to look upon as a walking Stitapratnya. The person who is this. But observe him. Don't go too much. That's I always tell. Don't be close to anybody because human body will have its own defects. The guru in everyone is the knowledge which is coming out of him. That's a person. Don't take the individual as a guru. Guru, as the name itself says that, is that what removes the darkness of knowledge in our understanding. It is not the person who is removing it. It is the teaching of the person which is removing it. So be grateful to the teaching, not to the individual, because the body of the individual, that individual who is teaching also is not pure, because that is also made of the Prakriti Guna. Guna Guneshu Vartande. That is, you should understand that. Don't, therefore, my advice is that don't be blind and follow a guru in the physical form. Learn from teaching, especially if you have any opportunity, read the Avaduta Gita, where he takes 24 things from the nature and they became his teacher for his realization. So it is available, and all of them, 24 things are Brahman only. That is why everything is Brahman. Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma, we are saying. So there is nothing from which you can, not learn anything. Everything is there because they are all Brahman only. It is teaching you in many methods. Observe them, take what is to be learned, and then that becomes your teaching to you. Not the individual, not any object or not any book or anything like that. It is the teaching which removes the darkness in you. So, Arjuna had Krishna doesn't mean that you don't have anybody else. You have entire world as Brahman to you, teaching you every moment. It can be your child, it can be your wife, it can be your colleague, it can be your, a taxi driver, or it can be anybody on the street, or even a homeless person there. Sometimes the words of wisdom comes from such a people is mind-boggling. We don't even, we think that only people in a certain posture only can talk about wisdom and wealth of knowledge. No. Ordinary people who have felt close to life and living can sometimes teach value of life to us. Learn from anything without any ego. That surrender to learn from anyone is the best thing which you can do. Don't expect a Krishna to come to your life and teach you. Krishnas are there, everything. Ragar mein Ram hai. That every sand, every grain is grain of God. That is what you have to take it.
Okay.
And Binduji, I also wanted to ask, even during Karma Yoga, I forgot. So the thing what we call inner voice or conscience or something like that, do you think paying attention to that also will guide us towards the right thing, or similar to how we are able to learn good things from anything, our inner voice will also be our own guide?
See, there is a what you call confusion about inner voice. Inner voice coming out of our latent impression and tendencies will have to be identified not as inner voice. Sometimes they also come as inner voice. But sometimes wisdom, which is coming in the form of inner voice, is something which we have to take, because that is coming from Atma, which is the self, luminous Atma within ourselves. Both can give inner voice. So you have to be very careful while, giving importance to that.
So just, I don't know if it's a silly question, but statistically speaking, if we just follow inner voice, we will stumble upon the inner wisdom, right? Do you think, or that's a bad gamble or something like that?
It's not a bad gamble or anything like that. You never know. It divulges itself. Yam vam vivarunude. We heard that in Kathopanishad,
Yeah.
19th mantra. The self will decide to divulge itself to us. So it will come from inner voice. How it comes? Not a gamble. It can take, shape also sometimes. But it has to come of its own. It is not volitional from our side.
On the same lines, right, Sriniji, probably the same question. I'll add one more layer. Is, I think in one of the statements you said, following Swadharma is much more, following imperfect Swadharma is much more better than doing someone's perfect Paradharma, right? This inner voice is kind of trying to tell that, but and there were three qualities when you said, right, body, mind, and intellect. All these three you have to clean to even understand the inner voice. I think last two shlokas in third chapter tried to explain that, how you can try to do those cleansing. But I kind of associate that inner voice to that Swadharma, but with my problem where I break down and I am not able to proceed is, I don't even know where the karma is hiding in all these three layers. And I don't even know that Paravare talk which you did. I don't even understand what is that which is above and beyond this specific, these inner voice. How do I understand this inner voice which is coming is actually associated with the inner Atma, the Atma or the Paravare, which is beyond superior? Until I clean, and I don't even know like how to clean, so I'm patiently waiting, I guess. I think that's all I can say.
Yeah, Kiran, that's what I said, no. You have to identify it from the way in which we get affected. If we are getting affected, it shows that there was a desire which was hidden in it. Otherwise, we will never be affected by anything which is happening in this world. Because we are a witness, we are a Sakshi. If we forget that we are a Sakshi, we become affected by the events in the world. That is why we have to identify that is a situation where a hidden karma has now shown its in a clear picture, because of which I am affected now. So that Swadharma aspect, you see, the Dharma thing is very confusing in the sense we ourselves do not know what is our Swadharma. Therefore, Krishna is saying is simple, is that when we are doing Swadharma, even if it is imperfect, don't mind. It is based on the, now the Swadharma is nothing which is a product of our Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, of our tendencies, Vasana and other inner, disposition with which we are moving in the world. So all those things what we feel that is my duty, that within inverted commas of my duty, it will not affect you if you know that it was my duty, I performed it, and that it is it. But if you feel that the minus comes from that is my-ness, that minus comes from that, then you will be affected if it is in some way or other it was hindered in your progress. That is the time when you will be, feeling that, oh, it was my Swadharma, my duty to do it. But now, even after having done my duty, I am getting suffering about it. Let me do that something which is not like that. The tendency to shift from that to do somebody else's duty is what Krishna is talking about. That if you do it, it is against your, what you call, the grain with which you are made. You are trying to, what you call, imitate or take upon something which is not suitable for your being. That will never give you the comfort and happiness. That is why Krishna is saying, don't do that. Do what is within your tendencies and behavior, but make it clear that Kama and Krodha do not come in between to make you feel that you are affected by it. Do it, forget it. Don't even think about, the consequences, outcome of that with which you will be evaluating your own progress or growth or, life by that. Later in one of the verses, Krishna will say, be like a lotus leaf in the water, born out of water, living in water, yet it doesn't get wet by the water. Patmapatram ivambasa. That is the word he uses that. So we should believe in this world. The world should not be touching us to make changes in us. We will be in the world, performing what is required for the world, but the world will not make any impact on me to change myself according to the world. That should be the way in which we should.
So, Bindaji, like you just said, like instead of dwelling on our past actions or feeling guilt or alternatively, we can always have a forward-looking attitude kind of thing, right? So when we hear that shloka, nahi kasit kshanamapi jatu tishtate akarma krit, so that the engagement of action should not be in dwelling in the past, but rather probably a positive forward-looking attitude. Would that be a right way to say?
Yeah, a positive forward-looking thing, but at the same time, as Kiran is always saying, be watchful that it should not affect you. That action should not be in any way affecting you, but you are doing it as a, what you call, instrument in the world without upsetting the world order or the cosmic order. That becomes yajnartham.
Yeah, when we have that positive forward thinking, there is no time to reflect on old actions or feel a sorrow or anything like that, right? We are always like looking for a fresh thing to do or something like that. In that way, I'm thinking.
That's okay. That way, fine.
Okay. Thank you, Vendaji.
Exactly, Brick. You said it. Be in the world, not of the world. Yes, Karin. Welcome.
Binduji. Thank you. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Okay. Can you speak a little bit about surrendering? Because surrendering is often very much misunderstood. Because there's also a danger in it that they kind of lose grounding, touch with themselves in order to so the surrendering itself, because the mind can be very strong, and then it needs convincing to surrender at one point and to say from, okay, I'm going to trust this, or I'm going to do this, or things like that. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, in fact, later it will be coming in the Gita. Ananyas chindayando maam yajana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Krishna is telling that Ananyas chindayando maam. You perform your living at the same time. You are part of the same world, which is letting you live in the world by taking the, the benefits and the, things which are possible for us to consume from the world. The free air, free water, food, society, social, love. All those things are available in this world. You are able to do it because you are part of the world. But never think that the world is something which you can manipulate and aggrandize for your selfish needs. The moment you do that way, then you are creating a dichotomy, thinking the world is different and you are different. So when Krishna is saying, Ananyas Chindayantoma, think as it is non-different from you. That means the world is non-different from you. You are the world. Like that song, we are the world. We are the children. The same way, we should learn that we are the children of this world to be part of this world. And when we live that way, the world will take care of us. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam. That statement will become very clearer at that time when we take that verse. The surrender which you are talking about is not a surrender of something which is different from you and then you surrender to that. If you have that type of a surrender, you are not surrendering. You are just becoming a victim to be at the mercy of somebody else. A true surrender is total identification without separation. That is the only time when the surrender becomes 100%. There should not be any differentiation or separation felt between the place where you are surrendering and between yourself. If that can be, like I always say that your child, a toddler who has just learned to walk, is you kept him or her on the top of a table and you are standing nearby them, and then you are showing your hand and asking the child to jump. the child will jump with 100% this thing that it is going to be taken care and protected and lifted by you. That mentality of the child at that time when he is jumping or he or she is jumping from the table to your open arms is a imaginable similarity of 100% surrender. So your step in the morning to the world or living should be with that attitude that I am taking my step today to the world which is like my mother, to one to whom I have 100% confidence that will take care of me. That surrender is that love between the father, the mother and the child. The child doesn't think it is separate from the mother, because it is the one from whom he or she has felt always, including the heartbeat which he was hearing when it was in the womb. And the mother doesn't think that the child is different. No way she will let the child fall. That mutual non-separatedness is actually the true surrender. Anything else is short of that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karan.
I have something else. You were also speaking about the world, right? That when you interact with the world, you're able to use anything in the world from that perspective, that it is self. So you can learn from everything in the world. And
Yes.
that is one of the first things I've learned as well. That it doesn't matter where you go, everything is, even when it doesn't feel good, or if it is something you have to do that is not quite according to what the world teaches, but it is something you're able to trust and able to learn from. And because we're always scared to make a right or a wrong move, or because it goes to something what we have learned a long time ago. And in facing your fears like that, that can make quite a difference as well. Even books that has nothing to do with spirituality, it can give you an insight of certain things, or and that is the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yes, you're right. We have to be open with our eyes, without our ego coming in between. Then so much of learning can happen from the world. Thank you, Karan.
Bindoji, can we, in the mode of practice, God, this is like you said, the guru is the form of teaching, not the physical or the voice of the teacher, but the listening skill. So this comes back to the core of the pedagogy, where you have always talked about the Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. So in the Sravana Manana, because they are coupled states, can Nididhyasana for a practitioner, and a consistent practitioner, can Nididhyasana be a measure of this, if you want to call it, stainless surrender, or surrender to the method, the precision of that? Is that a gateway, Bindoji? Because a lot of people think that repeatedly listening to something can be a hypnotic process. And that is an kind of interpretation of some of these methods. So I want you to clarify that process, which is, at the crux of Sravana Manana. It's not just listening, but listening and accurately representing that in the process of learning. Can you tell us a little bit more about that process itself, Binduji?
See, listening doesn't mean it is only by the ears. The word here, Shravana, is used for input of knowledge. Now, the input of knowledge, the surrendering which you are talking about is not only at the Nididhyasana level. It has to start at the listening stage itself. That what I am learning in the form of visual, auditory, or any other form which is there, that is not going to be hampered with my ego in between, so that I doubt and then listen to it. That will never fructify. At the same time, having questions, doubts, clarifying is no way you are challenging the question or the knowledge. You are bringing clarity. By cleaning the mirror, you are trying to see your own face better. That way, you are questioning questions, and clarity bringing is a form of surrender, where your questioning will be questioning with a nature in which you want the answer to clarify your doubt, not to challenge the question of the teacher or the knowledge of the teacher. That way you are not going to, it doesn't mean you should not question. You should, pariprashnena sevaya is the word which is used in this thing. By mutual dialogue, clarifying, all this time there will be a method of what you call shraddha, faith. That shraddha or faith will be really beneficial to you only when you have the surrender in that. That surrender is not a surrender like blind believing to what the teacher is teaching you. That surrender is with the questionable opportunities wherever it is available, like Arjuna is asking towards Krishna. When you are doing that, you are also keeping in mind that your individuality or the ego, or what you heard on about that guru or the teacher, or his physical outlook, or his other measures which you are looking at the teacher, those things can become difficulties in you to becoming totally surrendering to totally having faith in the teacher. That is why I said, don't look at the physical form or the nature in which he is teaching. Learn the teaching aspects of it. That teachings, it can be in auditory form, it can be visual, sometimes it can be examples, sometimes it will be a dialogue between two others. It may not be a dialogue to you, but it can suddenly click in your mind. Suppose I am talking to Kiran here. If Srini suddenly it clicked in Srini's mind, the teaching is my address or my teaching, my words, dialogue is to Kiran and myself. But Srini has heard it not from me talking to Singh. It is his own inner voice which is giving him an insight, but the dependency was on the words of what I told to Kiran. That became an instrument, but the teaching came from within Srini himself to remove the doubt in the mind of Srini. I didn't remove it. he has removed it by listening to what I told. So this is where the listening will make a difference when we are listening without our ego and a faith in what our interest. That deep desire to know the truth is the one which is starting with the listening part of it. That after listening, what you do in your loneliness, when you are thinking that in your mind and you are trying to hone it better for your own understanding, doubts which are coming, sometimes you will ask yourself, you will answer yourself. That is the process of manana. And this will be overlap between the Shravana and Manana. Sometimes it will go hand in hand, sometimes it will be after that listening. Sometimes it will be while listening. If you are doing the Manana, you should be doing at the thought process which the teacher is teaching itself. Otherwise, you will be in a mental trip, like a daydreaming, you will go out of the way. Then this Shravana and Manana, when it is maturing, you are more and more getting convinced about what you are learning, what you have listened. That is what is called the movement towards Nididhyasana. And the Nididhyasana's culmination is there when you are 100% convinced that you are not the body, mind, intellect, but that awareness which is functioning, or Swaprakasha which is functioning in that instrument called the body, mind, intellect. You become a witness to it, the Sakshi. And then that is the beginning where your journey is going to start. Till then, you are only preparing your journey. The moment you switch yourself to the identity of the witness is the time when your journey towards your own inner self is going to begin. And that journey cannot be expressed through description, words or anything. Because these words, description and everything is at mental level. Whereas that journey from witness to the self, inner self, is where the mind without words, descriptions and everything is having a direct experience of being in the state of awareness, where the individuality is not there, body is there, mind is not there, nothing is there, the states of awareness is not there, nothing is there. The words are also not there. It is pure experience of awareness without content to it, objectless awareness. And that can never be described even by those who have achieved it. They become Mauni, like the Dakshinamurti. Mauna-vyapka pragadita parabrahma tattvam yuvan. You will become, you don't have to do anything for that. After that, there is, the experience and the expressions are different. That's all I can say.
Yes, thank you very much, Binduji. This has to, be repeatedly manana. The manana of this is so vital, I think, at least from my perspective. So I think we have come to the end of the session, but I think, Binduji, there is one question from Joy in the chat. The root of calm is the identity, not knowing one as nothingness awareness. That is the question.
Root of karma is identity and not knowing one as awareness. See, the identity and karma are connected. Yes, the karma can come only if you think you are the limited individual. And therefore, the limited individual will have the desire to acquire things and everything. But not knowing one as awareness is the solution for that identity. That identity will lose that identity that I am the limited individual body, mind and intellect can happen only through the knowing of the awareness, or the awareness pure in the state of awareness only that can rectify it. So you are right. The karma is at the level of the individual level. Okay, Prakash, I think we'll close that.
Sure, Bindoji. So thanks everyone for coming, and especially the people up on the speakers panel who have come up and asked questions, and all the people who have been attending. Thank you very much, and we'll meet again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. IST to continue on the Bhagavad Gita chapter 4. If you want to access the replays, you go to Clubhouse or you go to the links in the chat. In YouTube, it's called Advaita Retold, and there are 2 other channels in Spotify and Apple Podcast. Thank you very much, Bindoji. Over to you to close the session.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Atmisha, Srini, Kiran, and Karin. Also, Kinu, who came up and asked the question. To see you all tomorrow for the Bhagavad Gita continuity. Good night. Hari Om.
Good night.